Hi, Math. I'm Andy. So I've had a lot of questions about clue number 2, so I thought I'd kind of help you guys out with a diagram and a how-to. So it says, as the guest was sneaking away, the groundskeeper was 4 feet, which is 48 inches, 12 inches in a foot. 4 times 12 is 48. 4 feet away, and pushed an 84-inch ladder onto the suspect. The very top of the ladder hit the guest on the top of the head. Find the height of the guest in inches, then convert to feet. We're going to have to do a couple of conversions. But first, let's think about this picture. So let's say that we have a groundskeeper. So here is our groundskeeper. And let's say that there is some guest, this killer at our murder mystery party, is sneaking away. So here's that person. This groundskeeper sees this guest sneaking away and pushes a ladder onto this guest. So if you think about, a ladder is going to hit the guest right on the head. And so a ladder would kind of look like this. So here's kind of like what the image is. Now let's label the information we know. We know that the guest is 48 inches away. So I'm going to say that this length is 48 inches from the ladder base to the guest. We know that the ladder is 84 inches tall. And so I know essentially the hypotenuse of this triangle. What I don't know is how tall this guest is. So I'm just going to call that x. So if we kind of translate this picture, what I really have is a right triangle that measures x, it measures 48, and it measures 84. And this is a right triangle, so I'm just going to put a little square right there to represent my 90-degree angle. And so this is a case for the Pythagorean theorem. We can use the Pythagorean theorem to find out how tall our guest is. So let's set up the Pythagorean theorem. Because this is a leg and this is a leg and this is a hypotenuse, we're going to have the leg squared, so 48 squared, plus the leg squared, that's the unknown length, equals the hypotenuse squared, 84. So we set up our Pythagorean theorem. Now we're going to do some squares. In order to solve for x, the first thing that we need to do is square all the things that we can. 48 squared is 2,304. We don't know what x squared is, so I'm going to leave that as x squared. And 84 squared is 7,056. So I just squared the numbers that I could. Now I want to get x by itself, and so the first thing that I need to do is undo any of the addition that is happening. So I'm going to subtract 2,004 on both sides of my equation. This is going to give me my x squared by itself, so x squared is equal to, and then whatever 7,056 minus 2,304 is 4,752. And so we're working on getting x. The last thing to get what x is, we don't want x squared, we just want x. So I'm going to take the square root of both sides. Square rooting x squared gives me the x. Remember, x represented how tall this guy was, and the square root of 4,752 is 68.93. 68.93. So I have x equals 68.93. Now remember, 68.93, this is inches. So this tells me how tall this guy is. He's 68.93 inches. But I need to convert this to feet. So I know that there are 12 inches in 1 foot. So I'm going to take that 68.93 and I'm going to divide this by 12. That's going to give me how many feet this is. So when I divide this 68.93, I'm using a calculator over here on the side, divided by 12, I get 5.744. Now this is my answer in feet. But here's the trick, everybody. If you made it this far, thanks for listening. This is not 7 inches. So we do know that he is 5 feet tall. We know that he is 5.744 feet tall. But this actually doesn't tell me his inches. I need to actually convert that back into inches. So I'm actually asking this question, what is 0.74 of a foot? So if 1 foot is 1.0, how many inches is 0.74 of that foot? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this decimal 0.744 and I'm going to multiply it by 12. It's going to actually convert it back into inches. I'm kind of asking how many inches is 0.744 of a foot. So I'm just going to work it over here on this side of the problem. I know that this guy is 5 feet tall. I'm going to take 744 and I'm going to times it by 12. Because this is going to convert this many feet into inches. 0.744 times 12 is equal to 8.9. Now this is inches. And 8.9 might as well be 9. So if I were to actually answer this question on how tall this burglar is, or this murderer is, according to our murder mystery party, this guy is 5 feet 9 inches. He is 5'9". So you can go to your suspect list and you can check off all of the people who are not 5'9".